We found out that there were a lot of porcupines probably told to the royals and even to Harry when they met her, and in order to cover up, oh my God.
Prince William has just made a statement that has shaken the entire royal family. If Harry and Meghan cannot prove that Meghan personally gave birth to Archie, the child could lose all support from the royal family. The conflict is no longer a private family matter, but has become an open confrontation between two brothers who were once very close. It all began with a mysterious stranger, journalist Tom Bower, who appeared night after night outside the palace gates with cryptic warnings. While William noticed irregularities in the pregnancy, Harry and Meghan reacted furiously, accusing his brother of deliberately smearing them. Is this merely baseless speculation, or is the truth gradually being revealed? And if the truth comes to light, who will truly pay the price? Yesterday, at Kensington Palace, Prince William made an official statement that sent shockwaves across the United Kingdom and the global public. His voice was low but filled with determination, his eyes staring straight into the camera as if facing the entire world. If Harry and Meghan cannot provide concrete evidence that Meghan personally gave birth to Archie, then Archie will lose all support from the royal family. This is not an empty threat. This is my responsibility to the monarchy and to the British people. The statement spread like wildfire. Major television networks interrupted programming for emergency broadcasts, and social media exploded with millions of comments within hours. Some supported William, saying the royal family finally had to address the long-standing suspicions. Others criticized him for destroying his brother and being cruel to his own flesh and blood. But few knew that the fuse for this incident had not started with that statement. It had been smoldering for weeks, on cold nights outside the palace gates. For nearly 2 weeks, royal security had repeatedly spotted a middle-aged man lingering around the area. He appeared around 10 p.m., when London was shrouded in fog, and the streetlights cast a pale yellow glow. He caused no disturbance and did not shout. He simply stood silently, his sharp eyes observing every vehicle entering and exiting. At first, security thought he was a familiar paparazzo or an obsessed fan. They approached and asked him to leave. He complied, but returned the next night. On the third occasion, he stepped closer to the security camera and spoke clearly through the glass. I am Tom Bower, an investigative journalist who has followed the Sussex family for many years. I have extremely serious information concerning Harry and Meghan. Please relay this to Prince William. This is not a joke. Security reported it up the chain. On the 4th, 5th, and subsequent nights, he continued to appear with the same message. His obsessive persistence alarmed the security leadership, who reported directly to William. Initially, the prince shook his head, believing it was just a tabloid reporter trying to manufacture drama. But after listening to the 6th recorded message, William's expression changed. He sensed something far more serious than ordinary rumors. What did he say about Archie? William asked his team, his voice lowering. He claims there is a major issue with Meghan's pregnancy and birth, Your Highness. William fell silent for a long time. He recalled the growing family tensions and the increasingly rare cold phone calls with Harry. Finally, he decided. Arrange a discreet meeting with him. No press, no official recording. The meeting took place on a drizzly London afternoon in a small, tightly secured conference room. Tom Bower entered, tall and lean, with silver hair and an old-fashioned suit, but his eyes radiated the confidence of a veteran journalist who had covered the royal family for decades. He showed no fear or flattery. Instead, he sat down with a serious demeanor. Your Highness, Tom began, his voice warm yet sharp. I am not here for money or cheap scandal. I have followed Harry and Meghan since they were still in Britain. Too many details do not add up. Meghan did not carry Archie in the way the public has been told. If this is not addressed, the scandal will be bigger than the Oprah interview. William clenched his fist under the table, struggling to stay calm. Anxiety mixed with anger surged within him. You are accusing my brother and his wife of using a surrogate? Do you have specific evidence, or is this mere speculation? Tom looked him straight in the eye. I don't have hard proof yet. That's why I'm bringing it to the royal family for investigation. Your Highness can try. Who knows? It might be an earth-shattering secret. The atmosphere in the room grew suffocatingly heavy. William did not reply immediately. He simply nodded lightly and ended the meeting in silence. After Tom Bauer left, William sat alone, staring out at the rainy window. He knew that once the seed of doubt had been planted, it would not be easily extinguished. Less than 2 hours after leaving the palace, Tom Bauer used a private contact channel he had maintained for years while following the Sussexes. The message went straight to Harry's personal phone number, one known to very few people. The content was short, but ice cold. I just met William. What I told him was only the tip of the iceberg. I know much more about Archie and Meghan's pregnancy. If you want to keep the secret, contact me before I am forced to make everything public. Harry was in Montecito, California. It was late at night. He was sitting on the porch with a hot cup of tea. When the phone buzzed, his face darkened instantly. Blood rushed to his cheeks. He gripped in the phone so tightly, it creaked. He immediately called back, his voice gritting and trembling with rage. Who are you? How dare you threaten my family? Stop these filthy games right now. Meghan gave birth to Archie completely normally. Archie is our biological son. If you say one more word, I will sue you into bankruptcy. On the other end, Tom Bauer remained calm, his voice steady but heavy. Prince Harry, I am not threatening you. I am giving you both a chance. Go public or stay silent. The choice is yours, but the truth cannot be buried forever. Harry slammed the phone down so hard the screen nearly cracked. He shot up and paced the large living room like a caged animal. What does he know? He muttered, his voice full of worry and fury. Meghan sat on the sofa not far away, clutching a pillow tightly. Her face was deathly pale, lips pressed into a thin line. She said nothing throughout the call, listening in silence, but her eyes revealed sheer panic and extreme tension. When Harry turned to her, she shook her head slightly, her voice small but resolute. Harry, stay calm. Don't let him provoke you. We cannot let this destroy everything we've built. Though they both vehemently denied everything outwardly, their subsequent actions revealed real fear. Harry and Meghan immediately tightened information control. They ordered their entire team of assistants to review every post from 2018 to 2019. Calls with friends and partners were minimized. Meghan even canceled 2 scheduled interviews, citing mental health concerns. Inside their luxurious Montecito villa, the atmosphere became oppressive. Harry kept checking his phone, pacing back and forth, fists clenched until his knuckles turned white. We left the royal family to escape this nonsense. Now they're dragging us back in. Tom Bauer is just a pawn. William is definitely behind him. Meghan sat quietly, but her hand unconsciously gripped the edge of the chair. She worried not only for herself, but for the career they had worked so hard to build. A surrogacy scandal would make everything collapse in an instant. That night, the couple barely slept. Harry held Meghan, trying to reassure her. I won't let anyone hurt you or our son. We survived Oprah. We'll survive this too. Meghan nodded, but inside she was clearly calculating every next move. She knew that if Tom Bauer went public with what he claimed to know, there would be no turning back. The next morning, they called an emergency meeting with their lawyers and PR team. The directive was clear. Deny all allegations, avoid direct answers about the pregnancy, and prepare counterattack scenarios if necessary. Though Harry still fiercely declared, "We have nothing to hide," the change in their behavior was obvious. They were afraid of what Tom Bauer held, afraid of the gaps in the pregnancy story they could not fill for the public. At the same time, at Kensington Palace, William could not sit still. He had made the statement, but inside him a storm of doubt was raging. He left the meeting room, went straight to his private office, closed the door, and sat down. The warm yellow lighting could not dispel the chill spreading through his heart. William began digging through his memories. He clearly remembered the period when Meghan was pregnant with Archie in 2018 to 2019. At that time, things in the royal family were still relatively calm, but cracks had already begun to appear. Meghan frequently missed important family gatherings. Once, on Kate's birthday, the whole family gathered at Anmer Hall with children's laughter echoing. When William asked Harry, he received an awkward reply. "She's tired, bro." For a high-risk pregnancy, the doctor advised plenty of rest. William had nodded then, but now, looking back, he saw the strangeness clearly. Then came Christmas 2018 at Sandringham. The family gathered in full, except for Harry and Meghan. Harry made a short video call. "We wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Meghan isn't feeling well." No detailed explanation. William had thought it was just a brotherly disagreement at the time, but now he recognized the deliberate separation. The final weeks of the pregnancy were even more suspicious. Harry and Meghan almost completely vanished from the royal radar. No calls, no shared photos, no meetings. William stood up and paced the room, rubbing his chin. He remembered the day Archie was born, May 6th, 2019. Harry called in the middle of the night, voice excited. "Brother, my son is here, Archie!" William and King Charles were overjoyed and immediately arranged to meet their grandson. Yet it took nearly half a day before they were allowed in. "The little one is sleeping soundly. The doctor said not to disturb him too much," Harry explained when they arrived. William had nodded, but a big question mark had already formed in his mind. With George, only hours after birth, his son had been brought out to meet the family and the public. Charlotte and Louis were the same. That was tradition. Royal family members must be transparent with the people from the very first moment. Archie was different. The child was brought out much later. When William saw his grandson, he only caught a brief glimpse of the small face. There was no immediate official photo, no grand introduction. Everything was handled quietly and discreetly to an unusual degree. William sat down, opened his laptop, and began piecing everything together. He realized there were too many irregularities. The unannounced absences from family events, the complete isolation during the final weeks of pregnancy, the half-day delay before meeting the grandchild, Meghan's near-total absence from public view with a clearly visible baby bump in the later stages, and the pregnancy photos that were mostly taken from afar with difficult-to-verify angles. The more he thought, the colder he felt. There were too many gaps that could not be explained. The surrogacy suspicion Tom Bauer had raised no longer sounded like empty words. Finally, after many sleepless nights reliving old memories, William decided he could no longer remain idle. The next morning, he summoned a small group of his most trusted people at the palace. Not the official royal team, but private advisors who had worked with him for years. "I need you to re-examine all information related to Meghan's pregnancy and birth in 2019, he said, his voice low but resolute. "Schedules, medical records, photos, witnesses, everything. Do it discreetly. Do not let anything leak." The investigation began in silence. William asked them to cross-check Meghan's schedule against public events. They discovered large gaps. During the final 3 months of pregnancy, Meghan had almost no public appearances. Private flights from London to the US were recorded, but lacked accompanying medical files. The pregnancy photos posted on social media were mostly old images or taken from distant angles that were hard to verify. The team also found internal reports from former Frogmore Cottage staff showing that Meghan had rarely seen the royal physicians during the most critical period. William sat in his office, staring at the thick stack of documents on the desk. Each new detail increased his anxiety. He knew that if this information leaked, the royal family would face an unprecedented crisis. But he also could not stop. His responsibility to the monarchy forced him to see it through. Without hesitation, William called Harry directly. The call came late in the California evening. Harry answered after the third ring, voice still sleepy but quickly alert when he recognized his brother. "William, why are you calling at this hour?" William took a deep breath, trying to keep his voice calm. "Harry, I need you to tell me the truth. The entire story of Meghan's pregnancy. Was there anything unusual? I've been reviewing old documents, and there are too many inconsistencies. I don't want to suspect you, but I need the truth." There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then Harry exploded. His voice rang out, gritted and full of rage and hurt. "What the hell are you talking about? You're listening to that old Tom Bower, aren't you? Meghan gave birth to Archie normally. He is our biological son. How long are you going to try to destroy my family? You're my brother, yet now you're acting like an enemy." Harry panted, continuing. "We left the royal family to live in peace. Now you're digging up the past just to strip my son of his rights. Don't call me again if you still have these insane suspicions." William tried to interject. "Harry, I just want proof. A clear ultrasound photo, independent hospital records, or even a credible witness. If there's nothing wrong, provide it. Don't let things get worse." Harry hung up without saying goodbye. The busy tone sounded like a final cut. Less than an hour later, Harry and Meghan's legal team responded. They sent an official letter to Kensington Palace explaining in detail every irregularity William had noted. Meghan had a high-risk pregnancy and therefore received private monitoring in the US as directed by her personal physician. The half-day delay in meeting the grandchild was due to the absolute rest required after birth for health reasons, and the limited public pregnancy images were a deliberate choice to protect the family's privacy. Everything was presented logically and professionally, leaving no obvious loopholes. William read and reread the letter. Part of him wanted to believe the explanations. Perhaps he was being swept up in Tom Bower's speculation. Perhaps he was letting doubt cloud brotherly love. But the other part, the part of the future king, kept warning him. Too many coincidences that were hard to believe. Why so secretive? Why, after all these years, had no specific evidence ever been provided? He stood up and looked out at rainy London. William's heart was torn. One side was the younger brother he had protected since childhood. The other was his duty to millions of British people who placed their trust in the monarchy. If he stayed silent and the truth later exploded, he would be the one held responsible. William clenched his fist. The investigation had to continue. He could not stop halfway, even if the final result forced him to face the painful loss of his brother. He had to uncover the truth. The flame of doubt was now burning stronger than ever. While William was quietly intensifying the investigation in London, across the ocean in Montecito, Harry and Meghan were not sitting idle. They decided to launch a strong and public counteroffensive. Early the next morning, Meghan posted a long statement on the Archie Foundation page. The post was shared simultaneously on both of their Twitter accounts, accompanied by a black and white family photo. The tone was deeply emotional and indignant. The British royal family is deliberately smearing us with baseless and cruel accusations. They want to strip my children, Archie and Lilibet, of their legitimate rights simply because we dared to choose freedom and truth. I carried Archie with my own body, with all the love and pain of a mother. These rumors not only hurt my family, but are a systematic attack on anyone who dares to leave that outdated system. We will not stay silent. Harry immediately shared the post with a short caption. Our family has endured enough. Do not drag my son into this dirty war. Truth will prevail. The statement spread like wildfire. Within an hour, it had millions of views and shares. International media ran headlines. Meghan Markle strikes back at the royal family. The brotherly war escalates. Immediately afterward, the couple tightened information control even further. All staff were instructed not to answer any questions about the pregnancy. Upcoming interviews were canceled or postponed indefinitely. Meghan even demanded the deletion of all old pregnancy photos from personal accounts. Every media inquiry received the same generic response. We have already made our position clear in the statement. No further comment. Harry video called some close friends, his voice full of tension. They're trying to destroy us. William is no longer my brother. He's acting like an enemy. Meghan sat beside him, holding his hand tightly, her face showing exhaustion, but her eyes still determined. We must stand firm. If we give in once, they will never stop. This counterattack deeply divided public opinion. A large group in the US and on social media supported Harry and Meghan. They saw it as proof of the royal family's revenge against the couple who dared to leave the palace. The royal family is jealous because the Sussexes are thriving even after leaving. Comments like this flooded in. Many Hollywood celebrities publicly backed them, calling William a hypocrite. In Britain, however, public suspicion grew. The media dug deeper. They compared the situation to Kate Middleton, who had always publicly shared ultrasound images, pregnancy diaries, and appeared before the public right up to the birth. The contrast made many Britons shake their heads. If Meghan really gave birth, why can't she provide evidence in just 5 minutes? No new medical records, independent witnesses, or clear ultrasound images related to Meghan's pregnancy were released. That silence only made the suspicions spread like a disease. Medical experts were invited onto television to point out irregularities in weight, belly shape, and the old photos. Meghan followed every development from home. Her face grew increasingly tense. In a private moment, she told Harry, "They want us to collapse, but I won't let them win." Harry nodded, but he too knew. This counterattack might bring short-term relief, yet it was also fanning the flames of doubt even higher. Public opinion was now clearly split into two camps. Harry and Meghan had fought back fiercely, but they did not realize their actions were unwittingly pushing the story into an even more dangerous phase. The pressure from the public was no longer aimed only at the royal family. It was now squarely on their shoulders. The next day, William waited no longer. Early that morning at Kensington Palace, he appeared before the cameras in an official live statement. His face was grave, his voice deep and decisive. "Harry is slandering us by claiming we are smearing him. I do not want to hurt my brother, but the silence has gone on too long. There are too many irregularities in Meghan's pregnancy and birth that require both the royal family and the public to ask questions. We ask for one simple thing: transparency. If there is nothing to hide, provide the evidence." The statement was like a bomb exploding. All the suspicions were laid bare. The strange absences, the half-day delay in meeting Archie, the lack of independent medical records, and countless gaps in the pregnancy timeline. William held nothing back. He brought the entire matter into the public light. Within hours, British and international media swarmed like hungry wolves. Investigative journalists dug into old records, interviewed former royal staff, compared photos, and cross-checked travel schedules. They uncovered additional details. No royal physician had directly confirmed Meghan giving birth in a British hospital. Private flights to the US in the final weeks had no medical reports attached, and all publicly released pregnancy photos could easily have been edited or taken from a distance. Public opinion began shifting noticeably. The group supporting Harry and Meghan, initially large, shrank as more and more Britons, and even some American viewers, expressed doubt. Harry and Meghan watched everything from their Montecito villa. Harry slammed his fist on the table, voice shaking with rage. "He's done it! William has chosen the public over his own brother." Meghan sat beside him, face ashen, gripping her phone tightly. She whispered, "We must stay calm. Don't let them see us panic." But the pressure had become overwhelming. Millions signed petitions demanding Harry and Meghan release their medical records. Major sponsors began going silent. Several advertising contracts were postponed indefinitely. The victim image the couple had carefully cultivated started to crack. 3 days later, William issued an official ultimatum through the royal office. His voice in this statement was even colder and more resolute. Within the next 3 months, if Harry and Meghan do not provide concrete evidence, including full hospital records, independent medical witnesses, and DNA test results if necessary, Archie will lose all financial support, titles, and privileges from the British royal family. This is not a game. This is our responsibility to the truth and to the British people. The words shocked the world. Some called William too harsh, but the majority of Britons strongly supported him. "The royal family is finally taking action," they said. The story temporarily closed in an atmosphere of extreme tension. The truth about Archie had still not been fully clarified. Harry and Meghan continued to deny everything vehemently, but they provided no new convincing evidence. William stood alone in his office, eyes weary yet determined. He had lost his brother in the most painful way. Not through death, but through an unbridgeable chasm. The image of every party involved was severely damaged. The royal family lost some of the public's respect. Harry and Meghan lost the support of many who had once believed in them. And Archie, an innocent child, became the center of a family war with no escape. The secrets remained, hanging in the air. Whatever happened 3 months later, one thing was certain. The rift between the two brothers, William and Harry, had become too deep, and the British royal family would never be the same again. The flame that Tom Bower had ignited had burned too many things, and until the real truth emerged, doubt would continue to haunt them all. If you were in Harry and Meghan's position, would you choose to stay silent as they did, or immediately provide evidence to end all suspicion? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy.